So the Democrats' defund the police movement has helped fuel the surge in violent crime that we're seeing all over the nation. And nobody has been a bigger advocate of defunding the police than the incoming New York City controller. His name is Brad Lander. He's a radical far-left career politician and community organizer. But guess what? In his new job, he, like all progressive elites, really, is happily accepting the special protection of a police security detail. Joining us now to weigh in on this and much more, New York Republican Congresswoman Nicole Malliotakis. Congresswoman, great to see you. You can't speak enough about this hypocrisy. It happens so often in so many different ways over the past year. We've seen it writ large all over our screens. What do you make of this particular example of hypocrisy from the left?
Yeah, you have Brad Lander, who gladfully voted to defund the police by 1/6, cutting the NYPD budget by $1 billion. And now he's going to be having a personal police protection and detail as he takes on this new role as controller. And he's not the only one. You have Jumaane Williams, who's a public advocate as well, somebody else who is a champion of the defund the police movement. And I feel bad for these NYPD personnel who actually have to take this job of protecting those who actually have worked against them. And it's not just cutting the police budget. It is also taking away their qualified immunity, a protection that they have to be able to do their job, knowing that the city has their back if they follow the guidelines of the NYPD guidebook and do everything right. So this is more hypocrisy, but I'll tell you, the biggest hypocrisy, the biggest hypocrite of all of them is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. When we're in Washington, she goes from 2 blocks from the Cannon office building to the U.S. Capitol in 2 gas-guzzling SUVs. Here's the champion of the Green New Deal going 2 blocks in 2 SUVs with police protection as well, also a champion of the defund the police movement. So they say one thing, but it is more about dictating to the public what they should be doing, that they should be riding our subways without police protection, that they should have less police on the streets, but that it's okay for them to walk around with their personal security.
And it's the whole squad. It's not just AOC. It's the whole squad. Cori Bush is the same way. She spends over $100,000 a year in a security detail coming out of her campaign funds, I guess. But I mean, the point is nobody else deserves police protection, but they get $100,000 per person for police protection. It's extraordinary. Well, let me switch, if I can, another New York City subject, but it's happening, same sort of thing is happening all over the country. We have a new DA in town. Granted, we have a new mayor. He's a former cop. He's sworn in on the first of the year. Eric Adams is his name, and he's a former cop, and he's going to be better than de Blasio, no doubt. But we also have a new DA. His name is Alvin Bragg. He got $1 million from George Soros, and as you can guess from that support, he's far to the left. He's kind of a defund the police sort of guy, and the sort of guy who's letting these violent criminals right out of jail. Even if Eric Adams is terrific on crime, he's got to deal with a prosecutor who's letting crazy violent criminals out the same day that they're arrested.
That's right. And New Yorkers need to know that they're going to get what they vote for. If they continue to elect these elected officials that don't take crime seriously, if they continue to send the same people to Albany who voted for that radical bail reform law that is releasing people back onto the streets, they're going to continue to get this same type of dismantling of public safety. Right now, we're facing the potential of seeing the most murders this year than in a decade. Think about that. In a decade, 500 murders we're almost approaching, and it is outstanding. It's outrageous that we're seeing this type of crime increase in skyrocketing. What we need to do, and what the new mayor should be doing, is restore the NYPD plainclothes unit. This was the unit that went after gangs and went after drug dealers. Yeah, he says he's going to do it, and people like me, and the Republicans, are going to have to make sure we hold him accountable and that he follows through. But in addition, he has to go to Albany and push the new governor and the state legislature to repeal the bail law that has been a complete disaster. At the minimum, we need to restore dangerousness. And the other thing is, he can't keep appointing far-left judges, like Bill de Blasio did, that under their own discretion continue to release people despite what the prosecutors are asking for, and allow the police to do their jobs. That's the other thing that we need our new mayor to be doing.
By the way, this is what we're
suit with all of
seeing
this.
here. What we're seeing here is happening in cities all over the country. We have Kim Foxx in Chicago, George Gascon in L.A., Chesa Boudin in San Francisco. He's the child of two Weather Underground radicals. John Chisholm in Milwaukee, Larry Krasner in Philadelphia, and now Alvin Bragg here in New York. So, I mean, it's all of these people were backed by George Soros. All of them are for letting violent criminals out, very often without any bail. It happens all the time. You see these perpetrators in New York who are beating up people or worse on the subways, and they're let out the same day. It's got to stop. Do you think it will in 2022?
Well, I hope so, and I think it was certainly a mandate by New Yorkers when they did elect the person who was saying that they were going to restore some public safety. The other thing is, in Washington, they've tried to take these very same policies. Nancy Pelosi tried to sneak the bail reform law in the COVID relief bill, and they tried to also strip qualified immunity from our police officers and try to strip some of the resources that we give our local law enforcement. Thankfully, Republicans stood up. We fought back, we exposed what the Democrats were doing, and we stopped this from becoming law. And we have to continue to keep a watchful eye because they do try to sneak these policies in. But I think the public really said in 2021 that they want to see public safety restored.
Yes, there's a pushback.
3/4 of the Democrats here in New York City said that they thought public safety was the #1 issue, and they wanted to see more police on the streets, not
there
less.
is definitely, the pendulum is swinging, and that is a very good thing. Congresswoman, great to see you. Happy New Year to you. Thanks for coming on today. Appreciate it.